Hi, my name is Dylan, and some hobbies I like to do are hanging out with my friends, going to the beach, and gym. Some foods I enjoy are potatoes, Ben& Jerry's, Chunky Monkey, and steak. This year, I look forward to getting my driver's license the most. Problem. How are mung beans affected when grown indoors versus outdoors? Variables. The independent variable is the temperature, as the first set of beans was indoors, making it have a lower temperature compared to the second set, which was outside in the hot sun. The dependent variable is the mung beans, as they change according to the temperature they are in. And finally, the controlled variables are water and cloth, as they have the same purpose in both sets of beans. To germinate the mung beans, I soaked them for 24 hours and split them into two separate bowls, covering each with a cloth. I put one outside and the other inside a closet, and would water each of them 2 times every day. After a day, both beans still had the same texture and color. The only difference between the two was that one growing inside all had small sprouts forming, while it was rare to see sprouts for the outside set. I think day 2 showed a clearer change between the two sets. Firstly, the mung beans outside were drastically greener than the ones inside, but the hot and humid temperature seemed to interrupt the growing process of the sprouts for the outside beans, while the beans in the inside definitely had a healthier and consistent growth, as the sprouts could be seen to be longer and more visible. In day 3, both sets of beans had their own change. The ones inside grew rapidly overnight, as some could be seen to already transform into bean sprouts and good to harvest. They also grew a very thin leaf on the top of the sprout. The ones I plucked out also had roots on the bottom. Again, the outside mung beans became very green, but instead of having sprouts, they grew dark green leaves that looked like almost tiny mint leaves. Again in day 4, both sets of mung beans quickly grew. All the beans grown inside became bean sprouts and were ready to be eaten. The pair of leaf on each bean sprout seemed to open up wide from its closed state in day 3. The roots even grew through the paper towel I put on the bottom. The set of beans grown outside also grew fast. Dark green leaves can be seen to cover the mung beans that also surprisingly grew into bean sprouts. Unlike the leaves of the inside beans, though, the outside ones were very rough and thick. I think day 4 by far had the most notable changes. I picked out a few bean sprouts from both to compare. The picture to the left is the ones grown inside, while the right is the ones grown outside. Like I said previously, the leaves on the outside bean sprouts are much bigger and thicker than the ones from the inside sprouts. They are also a lot greener than the pale ones of the inside sprouts. However, the bean sprouts to the left were more normal than the ones on the right, as the right ones had a green stem instead of white. The sprouts grown outside have much more roots and are a little thicker compared to the other ones. Finally, I sampled both, and while the bean sprouts grown inside tasted perfect, the outside bean sprouts were very bitter and hard to eat. In conclusion, I found that the surroundings do affect the way the mung beans grow. The one that I had in my closet flourished, while the beans outside struggled to grow and produce the right form of bean sprouts. Finally, it is better for mung beans to grow in the dark and room temperature than in a bright and hot setting. A problem that could have made this experiment better if it had not happened was that I used too much beans for the experiment, causing me to not be able to get accurate information. For example, the success rate of growing in lower temperatures versus higher ones.